Jan, a week ago, a week or so ago, we talked about the Nebraska free throws, but for you guys to go out there, you went 12 of 12 from the line in the fourth quarter. Hannah and Nalia came up big in the last minute. I guess how refreshing is that to see, knowing how much you guys have worked on it and how much kind of we've talked about it?
I'm just really grateful for it. Free throws are a funny thing. Confidence is a funny thing, and it can be contagious one way or the other. And sports, I mean, you can be rolling along, and all of a sudden, when you hit that spot, right? And I think everything just got a little tight back then, especially the free throws. And I kind of joked to Hannah after the game. I said it's a little easier when you're not seeing two of them, right? Because that was the deal at the end of that Nebraska game. When she came out, she didn't look right, and then she didn't say anything to me, but she was telling, I think, Coach Raina, she's like, man, I'm seeing double. She's like, I saw two of them. So I was really happy. I mean, I really, challenged them because I told them, I said, you got to change something, right? It's like, it's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So I think they all kind of changed the routine, and I've tried different things to put a little bit more pressure on them. But, this was one game. We got to keep that percentage up. But I'm thankful for this one game.
I think some people maybe would have expected maybe a bigger win today, but you look at the final stat sheet and there's not a lot that stands out that went poorly. I guess on your thoughts on maybe what you would have liked to see better from your team, and then how did you adjust to Northwestern shooting a lot better than normal?
Well, I think a lot of people, they don't watch 5 to 7 films. It just, you're not in the trenches. I think anybody from, Gino or Alma will tell you, if you're going to just think on paper and you think, oh, X team should win, but I mean, look at us, man. We're pretty young. We're trying to figure it out. We have confidence. I'm thrilled. I am. We've shown some growth. Some of those close ones. I just am really a big believer. You just respect every opponent, especially Joe McEwen. I mean, they had Indiana on the ropes. They lost by 4. They were up 17 on Minnesota, who's ranked in the top 25. They blew the lead. They just haven't found that way. So I'm proud of our team. I'm thankful, and whatever's on the front of that jersey to me just says tough opponent. Big Ten, one of the best conferences in the country. So I just think if you're a sports fan at all, I just feel like that would be a disrespect to Northwestern to think that it needs to be a bigger margin victory.
Just along those lines of growth, I mean, mitigating in-game frustration. I'm sure there was a lot of it at different stretches tonight. Just how did you kind of feel the team took steps forward tonight?
Yeah, I think we executed and listened a little bit better with things we wanted to do at the end of the game. We've blown some things when we wanted to foul. We didn't foul. They were instructed to sometimes, and just the pressure. We didn't run some of our sets right at the end of the game. The ones that didn't go right. Everything they really did, I think, for the most part, pretty well tonight. There was one exception with a little press breaker there at the end. I didn't have enough timeouts to safely always, call them in advance. But we just didn't run one of those things quite right. But I think that was just a lot of growth. There was a lot more attention to detail, and I just think, just got a little bit more confidence and kind of leaning into the moment instead of being on our heels. And I think that was a big key tonight.
Jan, I know last week you credited Aaliyah Guyton as one of the stronger leaders on your team. Just feels like her demeanor is so unusual for a freshman. Again, a couple big free throws tonight, some big shots to give you guys momentum. Can you just describe, I don't know, how unique of a player she is at this age?
Yeah, she just is. She just has a high basketball IQ, right? She sees the game, and she's not one that shies away from any moment, right? And that's a big component of that. Also, like tonight, the huddles down the stretch, just she'd be the one that a lot of it just echoing or leading it. Let's go on a run. Let's do X. Let's do Y. Repeating kind of what I've said. And a lot of times freshmen, they're not as quick or as apt to do that because they're kind of waiting. Is this my time? Should I say this? But she's got a really nice way about her, and people don't just allow her to say it, they want her to say it. And I just think tonight she was really, really big because she can facilitate offenses. She can slide between the 2 and the 1, and she can help handle the ball.
Jam, when you have, I'm looking at, I think over 40 personal fouls you guys combined. You guys had 14 turnovers. Suffice to say, this wasn't like clean, perfect Iowa basketball. So when you have, no matter who the opponent is on the other side, is that one of those things where like you're happy, like we didn't play our A game and we still won, or is there like some more frustration?
Well, I think I try to look at the positive. I didn't really, like the start. We had 10 turnovers. I don't really prefer to enter it right now from the wing. That's the one thing. I want to enter it from the top. And for whatever reason, we continue to try to force the ball in from the wing, and we're just, that isn't a strength of ours yet. So I think that was, right now, without watching the film, that was really a little frustrating because I don't want that look. I like to enter it into the post, but I want it to be cleaner and I want it to be more efficient, and we usually have more success when we go from the top. But overall, we're in an era of progression. We're growing. We have a lot of new faces. We play a lot of people minutes. Oftentimes, you've asked me a lot of times about freshmen. It's usually Aaliyah. Sometimes it's Strimlow. So I think it would be an error for me to come in and critique any win. We've been, it's been disappointing, right, when we've lost some of those. But this team has showed up. I've always told them they're closer than they've been farther away. We have been a possession in every one that we've lost. So, yeah, do I wish it would look like as beautiful and pretty? Absolutely. But I'm telling you what, we are learning that, maybe the not as pretty wins are certainly better than a pretty loss. So I want to keep getting better. We certainly need to. Obviously, we have a heck of an opponent coming up. But this particular team, we need to definitely improve on the areas we're not great, but we need to celebrate what we do well. And if this team can get a win, I'm on board, and I'm not going to give it style point critique just yet.
Adding on to the earlier question about Aaliyah, you had 2 athletes come out here and talk to us. Both of them had really good numbers tonight. What have you kind of seen in Aaliyah from this prospect from Illinois who was ranked through injury, comes out, gets her first start against Illinois, and now gets another big game and a win tonight?
I just think, I'm just the fortitude, right? Because I think sometimes it's easy to forget she just got cleared November 26th. And remember, the last game she probably played in was, in a high school gym with about 50 people, and they were probably winning by 40. And so then all of a sudden now you're in this pressure cooker of which every move that this whole team makes is under fire, right? And that's a whole different feeling when you sign and you're all excited about it until you get here. And then everybody keeps kind of looking at what was, and I'm just keep telling them what's going to be. And I think she really leans into what's going to be. And they're all leaning into what is. And to me, that's what's great about Aaliyah, is she just takes feedback. And I don't think there's too many kids that, right away when they get cleared, I'm asking her to do what she's been doing. And she's ebbed and flowed a little bit, but tonight she was a huge key catalyst as to why we were able to win the game. And it wasn't maybe as always pretty, but it was a win, and it was sure pretty to me.
Excuse me. Sita Fulter, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. And this is another game in a row where she's had some real good productivity. Do you think she's been a beneficiary of this move back to Hannah Stuelke at the 5 in this whole small ball as much as anything?
Absolutely, because now she's going against 4s. So the 4s, they're hard to defend them, but she's kind of going against, so the 4s are usually a little bit bigger. So that shift isn't just for Hannah and for us to play faster. It allows Sid, I think, sometimes to take a bigger kid off the bounce. It allows her to kind of use her versatility, because if she's playing the 3, sometimes she's matched up with the 2. Sometimes you're getting a different switch that you don't always would prefer. So I do think that could benefit her. I think, Kate Martin, she played the 4 for us. And when Kate Martin kind of shifted to the 4, you know, a lot of good things happen for Kate Martin. So I do think that. I think the matchup defensively, you know, that's going to be a little bit tougher at times, but that's when we'll go back with Hannah and Addie if, you know, gets too big. But I think offensively it's a great, more of a plus for her.
Zach.
Yeah.
Just going back to Aaliyah again, I mean, you know, obviously going back to Illinois, she started that game. With what you guys got coming up on the schedule, do you foresee her potentially starting in any of those games?
Yeah, I wouldn't, you know, I'm not going to show my hand on that, but I like how we're starting the games. I think we've, you know, by virtue of the season, watching practices and trying to find that lineup, I think we got a pretty good one. I think people are kind of settling in and being comfortable when they come off the bench. And I think what I like about Aaliyah, she can come in this role at the 1 or the 2. And so then if I need a little help at the 2, or I want to give Lucy more help at the 1, or if I just simply want to take Lucy off the ball. So I don't envision that. And I think Aaliyah is, I mean, Aaliyah, if she would have to start at the 5 or go in at the 5, she's going to do whatever this team needs to win. So I don't foresee that.
So how do you get your young team ready for Sunday and tell them that there's a game?
Yeah. You know, I think that was a little bit sometimes my concern about this, right? Because you just knew a lot of hype was, you know, about, you know, Caitlin's jersey, and obviously USC's coming in, and it's a lot. I mean, it's just storyline after storyline, right? And it's, you know, Caitlin, and then you have inarguably the heir apparent of Juju. She's probably going to want to, you know, have a game in front of Caitlin, all the things. But what I've just told them is, you know, what a moment. You get to be in this moment. We get to celebrate one of the greatest Hawks ever. But once the game goes up, right, all the pre-game stories, then it just becomes, you know, us and them. And then after the game, we can take a moment, you know, whatever happens, and really celebrate one of the greatest ever to do it. So I've just really tried to keep them in their lane, and I think they understand that. They know the task is tall on Sunday, but it's also a really fun opportunity. And I like what I've seen so far, but you know, it's been, you know, a lot of different things coming at them with just all the hype, because so many people are excited about Caitlin.
How did Hannah go from missing 2 games, a concussion, to her, by far, her best scoring output of the season, 26 points, most since UConn last year?
Well, I feel like, honestly, I really felt like we were coming. I saw the lineup a lot. I liked it before we started the Nebraska game. And it's unfortunate she got the concussion, because I just don't know what would have happened at the end of that game. But I liked how we were flowing. I thought our offense was a little bit better. I thought she was coming. And then we had to take the skids a little bit because she was, you know, couldn't play. I just think that, you know, she just had time to really adjust to, even though we didn't play her. She was, you know, back here. I don't think I've seen her as excited as when she got cleared. In really a long time. We came back, and it was, we were watching film in practice, and she really didn't have any contact in practice for the first two practices. It was yesterday, I think, was first full go. But there was just a new sense of like appreciation, and like, that was awful. I don't want to sit out, you know, all the things. So I was just really happy. But I mean, I think the kid should have had 30. I mean, I think she missed a couple of layups that I was like, oh, I know, I do not envision her missing coming forward. But I just think, you know, all of it, I think all of the frustration of those games and, you know, that happened earlier, I think we're just really focused on, we're closer than we're farther, and I think she's really, really feeling that.
Chris and then Kyle.
Jan.
Yeah.
So Hannah had 18 in the first half, and then they kind of held her away from the basket in the second half, but then everyone else got rolling. When Hannah's having a good game like that, she's in a good groove, how might that open up opportunities for everyone else as the game goes on?
Yeah, you know, I think there's just a fine line. You know, you can go back to it, and, you know, armchair quarterbacks, throw everything to her. But she gets a little tired, and, you know, we had some other actions going on. But, yeah, I think when you have to pay attention as much to Hannah, you know, they're trying to, you know, kind of if she's driving, they're trying to stop her because she's pretty powerful. That's why I like the top and in. It's a little tougher to kind of do any double or shenanigans on the top and in. But yeah, I mean, I have to watch it, exactly. But I think, when a kid has 18 and a half, you're going to get a little different scheme, or at least you should. And I think they were, throwing different bodies at her at different times. But I'd have to really watch the film to see if there was anything they did, incredibly, or we were just trying to get some other people involved.
Ava Hayden didn't get to play tonight. Was that a game plan thing? And then when you talk about Addie and Ava, it's the backup. How close is that battle right now?
Yeah, it is close. I mean, that's the hard thing. I mean, if you're going to do it at the 4, then Tegan Mulaney doesn't get the minutes. If you're going to the 5, then you're going to lose one of those in the rotation. She just has to stay ready. Tonight, Addie was holding her own, and she was giving a little different look with the physicality in there. And, just didn't have enough minutes to stretch it to get her some. I really wanted to give her some in that second half. And I was talking to Randy, the post coach, and, she was kind of feeling that she, kind of a joint decision going with Addie with that experience, because we never really got a lot of separation. But, that's the thing, our young kids, they just got to stay ready, because she could have a big role to play against a pretty, bouncy and, athletic and very good team against USC. So that's the hard part when you got a deeper team, is sometimes you aren't able to give them the minutes. But this team has been really, really good at understanding, for the good of the group that particular night. So I'm hopeful. I'm pretty confident that Ava will. I'm sure she's disappointed that she didn't play, but that's what you want him to be. And I think she'll be ready when we need her, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thanks for covering women's sports.
You started your first game against Illinois a couple weeks ago. You had a 15-point performance tonight. Can you talk me through that a little bit?
I mean, just being ready, whether my name is called off the bench or from the announcer, just making sure I'm always ready, knowing that I did put the work in during my ACL injury. So just making sure I'm always ready.
Hey, Hannah, welcome back. Thanks. What was it like being home while the team was playing games out west, and how did your recovery proceed?
Yeah, it was really weird watching them on the TV and yelling at the TV, because I've never experienced that before. But I miss the girls a lot, and it's just really nice to be back out on the court with them.
Aaliyah, just how much do you feel like your role is growing in kind of that stabilizing role, coming in, and if those droughts are materializing, ending those, and just kind of keeping everything on course?
I mean, just having a lot of experience as a starter throughout my life, it just brings that type of energy back. Like I said, I've always felt like I have been preparing myself to get called off the bench. So with that time, I always make sure I know what my role is, and it's actually easier to watch from the bench and see what's going on first, and just take a couple of notes in my head, and then just going out there and doing what I can for the team.
Hannah, when did you know that when were you cleared to play, and how did it feel to be back out?
Yeah, I started doing on my own workouts on Wednesday. So just once my symptoms were gone, I was pretty much cleared, and then just worked back into practice, and here we are.
Aaliyah, just, as a freshman, Coach Jensen credited your leadership and how you've grown into one of the strong voices on this team. What gives you the confidence to speak up and be one of the voices on this team?
I mean, just the overall work that I know I put in, going through a tough time during my ACL injury. I just feel like I stayed the course mentally. I do my mental exercises on and off the court, and whenever I feel like I'm backtracking, I have my teammates to help me too. So just knowing that I put the work in, knowing that my teammates have my back, my coaches have my back, and that brings energy out of me and that leadership.
Question for either of you guys. Northwestern shot it better than maybe they have all season. Just how did you guys adjust in game to them maybe making more threes than they had, or maybe just overall shooting it better than they have?
Yeah, I think we were a little lax in the beginning on the threes, and we just knew we had to start getting out on them better, faster.
Excuse me. Hannah, you were on the free throw line at the end of the game, and, made them both. And on the last free throw even, held your release a little bit, 6 for 6 from the line. How much does it mean to you to be someone that, you know, the team can trust on the free throw line when the game's on the line in situations like this?
Yeah, I think it's everything, especially knowing my history with the free throws. My whole life history, actually, I've always kind of struggled, and I just put in, that's all I worked on this summer with my injury. So, yeah, I just am more confident in myself, and my teammates are confident in me, so there's no it's not going in.
Zach and then Chad.
Aaliyah, when it comes to, you know, being in those pressure packed situations, you know, being in the free throw line towards the end of the game with the game on the line, is that something that, you know, you just feel confident that you know what you're doing and that you can, you know, be that person to help carry the team through?
Yeah, I mean, again, it just goes with the mental preparation and all the work that I know that I put in behind the scenes. So it's just a confidence builder, and I feel like if I have all of that and my teammates have that in me too, then I'm set.
Yeah, so this is the most points you've scored since the UConn game. So how did you actually feel out there, like, scoring so many points? I mean, 26. When I talked to your mom out west, she said, you know, the rim was moving during your free throws against Nebraska, so you come a long way here in a week.
Yes. Yeah, it was amazing. My teammates were getting me the ball all the time. Aaliyah, we have a connection on the court, and that's been really special to build and work on. And, yeah, I guess it was just rolling for me.
Cool, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yay.